And hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment. Oh, Comic-Con is over now, so well, let's move on to other things because we have certain things we have to talk about. And I want to talk about this one movie I just saw. It's Batman The Killing Joke. Now, this movie is coming on Blu-ray, I believe next week. Yeah, I believe next week or the week after. But it's already out available on digital HD. So I've already seen it, so let's talk about it. Okay, so you don't know what The Killing Joke is. The Killing Joke is basically this movie based on the graphic novel, The Killing Joke, by the same name. And it tells the story of how Batman and Joker, basically why they are in each other's lives. Okay? Now, in the comic book, it's very different from the movie. Now, personally, I haven't read the comic book in a long time. It's been a while. I think I might have to go read it again. But when it comes to seeing the movie, it's completely, it's basically shot by shot from what the movie, from the graphic novel is, except a couple of scenes here they decided to add it just for the movie. Now, for the movie, they added this whole, hour of just telling the whole Batgirl situation. And, by the way, before I continue, minor spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it or you don't know the graphic novel, I'm going to wave my hands when I talk about the spoiler. But I'm going to talk about this one part. Not a spoiler, but this is basically this whole hour starts off the movie where Batgirl's talking about how she's, loves being Batgirl and loves working with Batman. And then something happens between them, minus, while they're in action together, they meet this criminal, they go chasing off, and this criminal starts to, I want to say flirt with Batgirl, and she starts getting all, excited about it, and she starts questioning herself a little bit. And then, we get to that controversial scene. I already talked about that scene. I don't know why it was so controversial. It was just bizarre. I mean, if you don't want your children to see it, that's cool with me. But like I said, this movie is rated R, so this movie is kind of graphic. But yeah, I mean, that whole graphic scene with Batman and Batgirl together was just, I think it was just stretched too far, as it's too inappropriate. It was just weird. Anyway, let's move on. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie for the most part. Most part of it, I liked it, and then there's other parts of this movie I don't like. For instance, the whole hour with the Batgirl thing, I wish they could have made that a little bit shorter. I felt it took away, from the good stuff that we want. We want to see Batman and the Joker duke it out. We always like seeing Batman and Joker fight each other. It's basically what it is. It's like having a movie. It's like if you're making a Superman movie without Lex Luthor in the movie until near the end of the movie. It just don't happen. It's the same thing here. You can't have a movie without the Joker. It's just weird. You can, but there are gonna be moments where he's mentioned or he's in the behind the scenes. But in this movie, obviously, the name of it is called Batman: The Killing Joke. I think they focus way too much with Batgirl in this movie. I don't mind Batgirl; she's awesome. But I felt like they could, minus it a little bit. Made it shorter or maybe a DVD extra. But go figure. So when we finally get to the Joker parts, obviously Mark Hamill is back as the Joker, and Kevin Conroy is back as Batman, and they do a good job to it. I like what they did with the voices. I mean, the voice work is basically still the same from what the animated ones, but I felt for Mark Hamill, and this is just me. Obviously, for me, the Joker is my favorite villain of all time. In comic books. If we want to talk about other villains, I'll do a video about that another day. But Joker's my favorite. Okay. To me, I don't know. It was just weird when I watched this movie. I was like, he sounds like the Joker, but he doesn't feel like the Joker. It's just very weird to me. I don't know, because I watched the animated show with Mark Hamill, and I see other movies he's in as the Joker, and even the video games he's the Joker. He feels like the Joker. Him playing the Joker, he makes it realistic. And this one, I felt like he didn't really try. I don't know. It was just, maybe it was me. Maybe I gotta watch the movie again, but I just felt like he didn't felt like the Joker. It was just weird. Batman the same way. Batman, obviously is Batman, but certain times I feel like Kevin Conroy also did some things in this movie. I'm like, wait a minute, he shouldn't have acted like this moment or this and that. He didn't really get enough screen time, as I want to say. You know, that's just me, but go figure. I mean, I really wish in the beginning of the movie they showed more Batman, but they really just showed Batgirl a lot more. But go figure. But with the Joker, it was just weird because Joker's got that mind where he knows he's in Batman's head, and Batman's in his head, and they always mess with each other. No matter they're playing sick games with each other, or Batman has to go find them and break his face in, the Joker always feels like he has the Joker. And then this, it just doesn't feel like. I don't know. But the one thing I really thought was strong was the backstory that they gave to the Joker, because in a way, Joker doesn't really have a backstory. Joker has so many different artists and comic book writers have written stories for the Joker, but they don't feel like it's his real origin. Technically we don't really know his real origin. In this one, I'm gonna do my spoiler here. In this one, they show a man. They don't go by his name. They don't say his name at all. And he's a comedian. He just, he stinks at telling jokes. And he goes to a broken down home. He's got a wife. He's got a kid, a pregnant wife. And something happens where he loses his child. And then obviously he goes to do a crime as the Red Hood. And this is all flashback, by the way, when you see the Joker by himself thinking about it. And he falls into a vat of chemicals, and that's how he becomes the Joker. Now, like I said, a lot of different artists and writers like to do different stories for the Joker, but this one right now is the most famous one. This one and him as the mobster. So, and also a lot of people like to call him Jack Napier, from the Batman first movie, but nobody really knows what the Joker's real backstory. And that's a good thing, because if the Joker had a backstory, he wouldn't be as scary as he is. Because obviously, if you have fear in certain characters, you shouldn't really know too much about their backstory, So, anyway, I felt like the Joker in this movie, he was good, but he wasn't great. He wasn't acting like the Joker. I felt like he was just playing the game of Batman, but he was also bored out of his mind at the same time. I felt like he was starting to give up. It was like I said, it's a very very weird movie, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. The animation is incredible in this movie. I think it is. Like I said, I think Kevin Conroy did a cool job. I think, Mark Hamill did a good job too, but I felt like, they could have done better with their characters in the movie. That's just my opinion. So if I had to grade this movie, I'll give it a 7. I'll give this movie a 7. I was looking forward to this movie a lot because it's Batman and the Joker duking it out, but they only fight near the end of the movie, and it's kind of one-sided. Obviously Batman always beats Joker, but Joker usually puts up a fight, whether with his jokes or his gadgets, his tricks that he always does. And there's no Harley in this movie either, so he didn't feel like the Joker. It was just really, to me, very weird about it. But what can you do? Hopefully by the next DC animated movie, it'll be better. I mean, there's no Robin in this movie either, even though these movies tie in together. So I believe Robin's with the Teen Titans at this point. I have no idea, but there's no timeline with this. What movie this is after in the timeline, but obviously this movie is really after the Justice League versus the Teen Titans. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, I like this movie. I also didn't like it. But you know what? This movie did tell me that they're probably gonna do another story. Hopefully, not the Death in the Family, but there's another graphic novel where Joker cuts his face off and he puts it as a mask. So maybe that's the next movie. Who knows? They could get in Justice League Dark after. But like I said, this movie is okay. If you want to check it out, I maybe rent it, not buy it. If you're a die-hard hardcore fan, but like I am, but I'll probably will buy it anyway, just for the collection. But like I said, this movie is not exactly, the best animation out of all the DC movies, because I can name different movies that are better than this one. But that's just my opinion. So there you go. There's my review for the Batman: The Killing Joke. Well, let me know what you think if you've seen the movie, and leave a comment below. And thank you, and see you until next time.